very much, Jane. And can I bring you the NUT and UCU solidarity greetings from the PCS National Executive Committee? We're speaking at every rally that's taking place up and down England and Wales this morning and this afternoon. And like the previous speaker, a number of us are hot-footing across to Birmingham after that to join in the solidarity events there as well. And in a sense, I also bring you solidarity greetings with my youngest daughter, who's actually gobsmacked and pleased today that having come back from an away trip the last 2 days, she was told by the NUT Association in Alderman Callow School in Coventry that she had another day off and she didn't go into school. Of course, she was trying to organise as well at the same time school students to show support for NUT members working in Alderman Callow. So what I learned from that, in fact, is your support, your strike across England and Wales has had wide support across the UK this morning and this afternoon. And you don't need to believe, therefore, what you're reading in the media in terms of numbers of people affected by this. I know from message supports that have come out from PCS branches that, in fact, there's wide support. At a lobby of Parliament last month, I actually saw 3 to 4 members of Parliament about public sector pay. They're all sympathetic to our cause, not prepared to rebel on this particular instance, but what they all also said to me, they were concerned about their pay, the fact that they'd only received a 1.9% pay increase in 2008 as well. But of course what came out and what we discussed with them in that rally is they also get expenses. They get expenses that cover the ordinary cost of living increases that we have to find out of our normal pay salary. Those expenses aren't linked to CPI. They're actually not linked to RPI. They're linked to the real inflation costs of over 5%. And that, of course, is why today over 400,000 teachers, civil servants and lecturers across the UK are standing in opposition to unfair pay. And this is the largest display of industrial unity by public sector workers for decades. Many PCS members, civil and public servants, amongst the lowest paid civil servants in the UK. A majority earn less than £20,000 per year, nearly 1/5 earn less than £15,000. Thousands of PCS members are so badly paid that they have to claim tax credits. Some, like members in the Coast Guards who are on strike today, had their wages increased last year when the legal minimum wage was actually raised. And there was actually a joke in Department of Work and Pensions who had an imposed fee offer a 3-year pay deal. The increases are worth 1% last year, 0% this year, and 2% next year. So what's being said by our DWP members, at least in 2008, they will get their pay rise on time, because 0% of course means they've already had that pay rise. In addition, many PCS members who will lose out as a consequence of the government's outrageous decision to abolish the 10% tax rate. And I'm sorry, Gordon Brown, despite the fact you announced a review, our members can't wait to pay that review off and actually have their fuel bills paid. They can't wait for the outcome of that review, because I'm sure the Electricity Board and the gas companies won't wait for them to pay their fuel bill increases. Today, over 100,000 members of PCS are on strike. Members in DWP, the Home Office, Land Registry, Department of Transport. And we're proud to stand alongside the NUT and UC members in the fight for fair pay. Prices are spiralling. Food, mortgages, petrol and train fares are all increasing faster than any time for years. Real inflation is over 4%, and yet we are told by government that pay increases must be well below this figure. Ministers argue that fair increases for public service will increase inflation, yet there's not a single shred of independent evidence who agrees with that. In reality, workers in the public sector are the victims of inflation, not the cause. And in reality as well, civil service pay increases have been held below 2%, and that's why we're involved in national dispute. In the meantime, the rich are getting richer, thanks to tax loopholes, whilst at the same time our members are losing jobs in inland revenue. The government refuses to close those tax loopholes. It means that many of the wealthy pay no tax. The average pay of a top company director has risen the past year alone from £2 million to £3 million. And yet the government says it can't afford to pay us a decent living wage. And yet the government can find £50 billion of our money to bail out city gamblers. And yet the government can find £50 billion of our money to support Northern Rock. And it's against this background the government has the cheek to demand that millions of public servants take a cut in living standards. We say no. We refuse to take a pay cut imposed by a government that is more interested in protecting the rich and bailing out the banks. What we are demanding is a fair and reasonable pay increase that will preserve our living standards and which recognises the importance of the work we do. Building unity across the public sector is crucial to that campaign. Unity enabled us to defend our pension rights in 2005 when the government threatened to take our pensions from us. And remember then, they said they were not for turning. And because of unity, PCS successfully moved a motion at 2007 TUC conference calling on the TUC to help in the development of coordinated campaign by as many public sector unions as possible. In a few weeks' time, PCS will be holding its annual delegate conference. We will be debating how we continue to build our campaign to secure fair pay increases. Further joint campaign and coordinated action by public sector unions in the months ahead will be crucial. We want to work with all unions and members on strike today and not on strike today. And our strike today is important for two reasons. Firstly, it will send a clear message to government that we're not prepared to accept below inflation pay increases and cuts in our living standards. And secondly, our strike is important today in building the unity in public sector unions that will be needed to get the government to change direction. Let's build that unity, let's show campaigning works, let's show we can work together to achieve a decent and fair pay system. Thanks very much.